This is the Algebra 1 Summer School Unit 4 Lesson 3 Percent Review Practice Video. In this practice video, I'm going to do problem 1, B, and C, and then number 2, A, and B. If you have questions on any of the other problems that are not on this practice video, you'll need to go to Canvas and look at the answer key that's posted, or you can come into office hours and speak to your instructor. Alright, so number 1B. What we're doing in number 1 is we are finding the stated percent of each of the following numbers. Show all calculations. So we're going to find 14% of 211. We talked about in the notes how we can find 14% and write it as a decimal. So 14% is 0.14, and we're going to multiply that by 211. So 0.14 times 211 equals 29.54. That is 14% of 211. All right, and number C, I need to find 9.5% of 23. Well, 9.5%, let's be careful as we figure out what that is as a decimal. To figure out that decimal, I take 9.5 divided by 100, and I get 0.095. So I'm going to take that percent as a decimal, 0.095, and multiply it by 23. When I do that, I end up with 2.185. That is 9.5% of 23. Okay. Try A and B, and if you have questions, check the answer key that's posted on Canvas. Number 2, what we're going to do is, you're going to be given a scenario that's percent increase or decrease. You're going to have to find the final percent. Remember that when you're asked for percent increase, 1 plus P helps you find that value, and 1 minus P helps you find the value for percent decrease. Alright, so example 1, you go on a date and you spend $67 for dinner. You had a great server and want to leave a 24% tip. How much money do you pay in total? Well, when you go to dinner and you pay a tip, that means that you're going to be adding money to your bill. So we need percent increase here. So you go on a date, your original amount of the bill is $67, which is what we start with. And then since it's percent increase, I'm going to do 1 plus percent, 0.24. When I multiply those two quantities together, you should find out that your bill is $79.36. We talked about in the notes how writing 1 plus 0.24 is the exact same thing as writing 1.24. You can write those either way that works for you. Finally, 2B. The population of the city is declining. This year there are 25,000 people who live in the city, and they expect next year to have 4% fewer people. How many people are going to be living in the city next year? I'm going to start this out by knowing that I start with 25,000 people. Since this is declining, we're going to take 1 minus 4%, 0.04, to figure out what percentage of people or how many people are going to be living in the city next year. When I do that calculation, I figure out that there's going to be 24,000 people living in the city next year. If you wanted to simplify this, instead of doing 1 minus 0.04, you could put that value in your calculator and figure out that it is 0.96. All right, that's the lesson video for the percent review. Again, if you have other questions, you can reference the key that's posted on Canvas or come into office hours and ask your instructor for help.